There's no doubt that our client felt that there was a threat to his family and to himself.
New details about Mickey Stines, the former sheriff accused of shooting his longtime friend, Judge Kevin Mullins, dead on camera as his lawyers prepare to say his mental state made him not responsible for the crime. His attorneys are here to explain what they're going for and how it could impact his defense. Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Mickey Stines used to be in charge of enforcing the law in Letcher County, Kentucky. Now he's accused of breaking it, and it's all on camera. Stines stunned the world when he pulled his gun and shot and killed his longtime friend and former boss, Judge Kevin Mullins, in the judge's chambers last September 19th. The two men had had lunch earlier that day, and no one noticed anything out of the ordinary. Then around 3 p.m., Stines and Mullins were in the judge's chambers talking. Detective Clayton Stamper explained during a hearing what was on surveillance video at a hearing last year.
I was told that Sheriff Stines had tried to call his daughter, and he had tried to call his daughter from the judge's phone also.
Then, for some unknown reason, Stines shot Judge Mullins.
I wasn't present, but when he was taken into custody, I was told by one of the other officers that were there that he made the comment, "They're trying to kidnap my wife and kid."
Deputies raced to the courthouse for the unusual call that Judge Mullins had been shot.
Go ahead.
Where you at?
Shots fired at the Letcher County courthouse and somebody shot Judge Mullins.
You're again.
No, sir. Just come out on the radio.
Body camera footage shows Stines being taken into custody.
Make sure there ain't no weapons or nothing now.
There ain't nothing in there, bro.
Yeah. Come on now. Right here, open up the back hatch. Come on. No, now come on.
You heard Stines tell the troopers to make sure there weren't any weapons in the back of the cruiser. He then talks a little bit more.
Y'all gonna leave me in here and let me die of heat exhaustion? No, I can't get up in there. Come on now.
Come on.
I'm gonna be in there, bro. Nobody's up in there.
I can't. Yeah, man,
No,
I can't get in. These cuffs are way too tight. Come on now, guys. Come on now.
On the hour-long ride to the jail that's in another county, Stines practically sounds paranoid.
Come on now, guys. Make sure I get to the jail.
At times, it's hard to hear the troopers in the cruiser, but they try to talk to Mickey Stines on that long drive to the jail.
Come on now, guys.
I was asking why you done it. Was it over your family?
Come on now, guys. What are you doing?
I was just talking to you. I'm just asking, was it something to do with your family or anything like that?
I want to tell you about Upside. It's a free app that gets you cash back on things like gas, groceries, and restaurants. This is real cash back. It's money that appears in your Upside app that you can transfer straight into your bank account. I've used Upside at Dunkin' Donuts when I needed a cup of tea or coffee. I claimed an offer for Dunkin' on the app. I paid as usual and followed the steps, and I got cash back. It's so easy. You can also use Upside at places like Exxon, Shell, Taco Bell, 7-Eleven, and that's just to name a few. To find out how much you could earn, click the link in the description to download Upside or scan the QR code on your screen and use our promo code CRIMEFIX to get an extra 25 cents back on every gallon on your first tank of gas. That's promo code CRIMEFIX for extra cash back. Now, days before the shooting, Mickey Stines had been deposed in a civil lawsuit filed by a woman named Sabrina Atkins. Atkins sued Letcher County after a former deputy named Ben Fields admitted to having sex with her when she was an inmate and he was supervising her on home incarceration. Atkins says she couldn't afford a GPS bracelet, so Fields offered to help her out in exchange for her having sex with him in Judge Mullins's chambers. Fields was charged criminally and served 6 months in jail, and he's supposed to be on probation for more than 6 years. Atkins told investigators with the Kentucky Attorney General's office that she saw videotapes of Judge Mullins having sex with women.
But you just saw the judge. Do you know for sure that was a judge? I mean, how do you know that's the judge?
I'll be in front of him. His face is pretty clear on there.
So did this lawsuit and what was happening in the courthouse play a role in Stines shooting Judge Mullins? His attorneys most certainly believe so, and you're going to hear more about that here in a bit. Fast forward to a hearing for Stines last week. His lawyers want him to undergo a psychiatric evaluation to help determine whether he is criminally responsible for Judge Mullins' murder.
We do believe there will be an issue as to criminal responsibility. We have consulted with, folks with regards to that issue.
The judge agreed to get the ball rolling on the evaluation.
I think that's probably the best course of action, to go ahead and get that in the pipeline. It is going to require, what I would recommend is that we go ahead and get the order entered in regards to competency and criminal responsibility. I might as well go ahead and that address, since we're going to be doing that, versus we've seen it sometimes be piecemealed, and I don't want to delay the proceedings if we would have to go back and redo that.
So competency and criminal responsibility, these are two totally different things. Competency has to do with whether someone is able to assist with their own defense, but criminal responsibility has to do with a person's mental state at the time the crime was committed. The Commonwealth objected to the defense's expert possibly being present during the evaluation, which would be conducted by the Kentucky Correctional Psychiatric Center.
I'm not comfortable doing a criminal responsibility if he's going to have an expert on that position, unless we know what the issues are they're raising in the criminal responsibility of their expert. So we're going to get in a position where our experts at KCPC, or the court's experts at KCPC, are on criminal responsibility, are going to make a finding while their expert's present, and then he's going to go back and write his report. I don't want the court's KCPC evaluators doing an evaluation until they know what their position is, what their expert's position is. That way he's not interfering, but he's in an evaluation for criminal responsibility, and then he gets to go back and then address issues that he thought were not discussed properly during the KCPC responsibility issue.
So both sides will file briefs on that issue. Meanwhile, the exchange of evidence is well underway.
I know we have made discovery. I think 2 weeks ago, we made another some more discovery, some issues. We still have some things coming in and things being tested. I would think within the next 4 to 6 months, all discovery and testing would be complete.
I want to bring in Jeremy Bartley. He represents Mickey Stines in this case. So I want you to kind of break down, Jeremy, what exactly you're looking for here with the criminal responsibility evaluation. I mean, is this something that you would present to a jury, or would this be something that would be evaluated pre-trial?
Well, it has the potential to be both. So basically, we are required, if we intend to rely in part or in whole on a mental health defense concerning criminal responsibility, then once we are confident that we can announce our intention to use that as part of our defense, and we have retained our expert, then the Commonwealth of Kentucky has the opportunity to have Mr. Stines evaluated by their expert. And at this point, KCPC there's a huge backlog of cases in the state of Kentucky. And so normally this might be something that we would wait a little bit longer on, but in the interest of trying to expedite this case, we have presented Mickey for examination now.
The Commonwealth seemed a little surprised by this. It sounds like they kind of expected the competency exam request, which is different. Competency determines whether or not your client can assist in his own defense. Sure. But you said it was a joint motion. So explain to me kind of why they seemed sort of taken off guard there.
Yeah, and I don't want to speak for the Commonwealth, but I have spoken with Mr. Steele after. I think potentially there was a misunderstanding between the two of us, but I will say that we we have not had a reason to believe that he is not competent. And so competency for the viewers is, that's an examination of whether he's able to understand the nature of the proceedings and whether he's able to assist us in preparing his case for trial. It concerns only the now. Where is he at today in terms of his ability to understand those things and to participate? Whereas criminal responsibility, that examination focuses on the time of the alleged acts. And so what we said in court is that I have no reason at this point to believe that he's unable to assist us. I believe that he understands the nature of the proceedings. But I do believe that his defense will in part rely upon a mental health defense.
In the Commonwealth of Kentucky, the statute is very clear. A person is not responsible for criminal conduct if at the time of such conduct, as a result of mental illness or intellectual disability, he lacks substantial capacity either to appreciate the criminality of his conduct or to conform his conduct to the requirements of law. We saw the body camera footage that was released that we obtained earlier this month. Your client seemed very paranoid. In this footage, he's asking where they're taking him, all of this stuff. It almost sounded like he was afraid they were going to take him in the woods somewhere and do something to him, or that he was going to be taken somewhere. I mean, did he feel an imminent threat? And was it because of this lawsuit, about the sex in the courthouse and all of these allegations?
If you'd like a one-word answer, yes. Yes, he did feel threatened. In the
By
days
Judge
leading
Mullins?
up, he felt threatened by. I'm not going to say specifically who, but at this point, but he was concerned about if he said the wrong thing or if he had already said something that could cause people to want to retaliate against him, to cause harm to him or his family. Yes, he did feel that there was an imminent threat. And, is it related to the deposition? Well, in large part, yes. And there were a variety of things that were happening there in the area of the courthouse that I think a lot of people wanted to keep secret. And, I think we're starting to see, as you've reported, and about some of the things that were behind the veil were not operated the way they should be.
There's been some reporting out there by another outlet. There have been some people who've floated some theories to us that even though, Mickey Stines was obviously, as the sheriff, named in this lawsuit as the sheriff, that he was somehow involved in all of this with the sex in the courthouse somehow. Was Sheriff Stines, as the sheriff, involved with the sex for favors in the courthouse?
The civil suit, the only reason that our client was named in the civil suit, and we're not representing him in that, but he was named solely as the sheriff. And the allegation in that case was solely that he failed to train this Ben Fields, who was convicted of having these sexual relations with people on pretrial release in the same chambers where these acts occurred. But I've not seen any allegation concerning my client in that case that relates to those allegations, and I've not seen anything that substantiates anything of that nature against our client.
Is there anything else that you can reveal to us about what was going on in that courthouse and why he felt threatened that day?
Well, I just think there are a lot of things that he certainly would have been privy to, had been made aware of. And I think that there was a concern that what he might say in that deposition could be harmful to others. And, you know, I think that this caused him severe distress. And I think you see a person in the body cam footage that you have, you see a person who is completely outside of themselves, outside of the normal way that people were used to seeing the sheriff. And, you know, the days leading up to that deposition and the days following that deposition, he was looking around every corner. He had every reason to believe that there was a threat to his wife and daughter. You heard the testimony at the preliminary hearing that our client's statement was they were going to take or kidnap my wife and daughter. And that was a very real threat that the sheriff felt. And so I think that it's important to understand that while this is not a whodunit case, you have a video, there was a shooting, but there is a real husband, a real father, and a real human who was placed in a absolutely very delicate situation.
Well, we will stay tuned. Jeremy Bartley, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And just to be clear, the issue of criminal responsibility, that will be up to the jury to decide. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angenette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.